what is Thrive's mission?
Yeah, so Thrive Today is a ministry my wife and I run. And basically what we do is we do training. And so we train people in relational skills. And so one of the things that I discovered shortly after this internship was a book called The Life Model, Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You. And one of the authors was Jim Wilder, and he was a clinical psychologist in Southern California. And I met him at a lot of Christian conferences talking about the brain and how God created us for joy. And so he was also ordained minister, talking about how humans, really joy is the fuel for your brain. And so when you look at what helps humans thrive, it's a relational, glad to be together joy. And so looking at the scripture through a relational lens and looking at how, life and relationships work, joy was the missing ingredient in my upbringing. Like I come from a very loving family, a great church, but we weren't necessarily glad to be together. Like pain was loud, fear was rampant. There wasn't a lot of joy. So Thrive Today really focuses on training people in skills. And one of these skills is joy, that ideally we learn about the first 3 years of life. So if your family has some joy, if your family knows how to quiet, if your family knows how to get back to joy from big feelings, those seeds of those skills are planted the first 3 years of life. But if they don't have the skills, then you learn non-relational ways of living and doing your relationships in very non-relational kinds of ways. So what Thrive does is it helps people learn these skills that ideally our communities would have, but they're kind of fading. They're unfortunately fading from our world for lots of reasons. So we train people, how to grow joy, how to learn to get back to joy from your anger, from your hopeless despair, all of these skills that come from brain science and kind of come from just being Christians and looking at the Bible and say, certain ingredients should be there. And when they're not there, there's something that happens because this ingredient's not there. So we train what we call 19 relational skills, and we run events, we do retreats, we do all kinds of stuff, write books, really to help people learn about these things. And this is part of what helps us to mature. And I can memorize the Bible and still not be able to make my relationships work. And so, trying to bridge this disconnect for people to do a really good job loving people and to love people well and to be a relational bunch who reflects Jesus relationally in this world. That's really what we're about. And we're very much trying to train people and equip people with these skills. We call them relational skills. Some people call them character skills, but these are skills that just help us to be a relational bunch who love well, and we recover when things go wrong, and we're able to be our relational selves when things get hard, right? Because scripture tells us don't be surprised when fiery trials show up on your doorstep. So we know those fiery trials are going to show up on our doorstep. But if I don't have relational skills, then what happens is when those trials show up, I become non-relational. I say and do things that don't reflect my values or my faith very well. And I act like a different person. And so what we're trying to do is just train people in these skills so that they reflect Jesus in the good times, but also in the bad times, and to be able to live that out relationally. It's a fascinating ministry. It's fun because everybody wants to be the people that God created them to be. And there's lots of reasons why we're not being the people that God created us to be. So sometimes we got to get rocks out of our shoes, and sometimes we have to correct the limp that developed because of the rock in our shoe. And so, we're very much a training, equipping kind of a ministry.